Today, I'm revisiting my review of the Warnings London gig from earlier this year, this time with YouTube's new auto-dubbing feature, so you can hear it in your language or in the original English if you prefer. If you're new here, welcome, enjoy, and let me know how it sounds. If the feedback's good, I'll use this feature on future uploads as well. And if you've seen it before, well, welcome back. Nothing's changed, except now we hopefully get the chance to connect with more Warning fans than ever before. Right, let's dive in. So last week, a little band called The Warning played their biggest ever headlining gig outside of their native Mexico. And which fool do you know who was there? Yeah, it was this guy. So come on in and let me tell you all about it. Hey, welcome to Acting is Reacting with me, JSB, where it is once again time for a gig review. And this time it is indeed for The Warning, who played Brixton Academy on Thursday, Thursday the 17th of April, which is the day before Good Friday and the day after I got back from a holiday in Spain. So I'd love to say that made me ready for all the Spanish songs. There are only two of those, but no, my Spanish still consists of hola and yeah, that's about it. I'm pathetic, I know. Anyway, to the gig and Brixton. Well, it was actually my first time going to a gig at the Brixton Academy. I've been in London 15 years and haven't been to this iconic venue. Well, I actually have, but my previous experience there was as an extra in the, I don't know if it's good or not, but in the Netflix film I Used to Be Famous, where I spent a day up there and then down there and on the sides and everywhere else going for a bit, for money. Anyway, this was a better experience, I have to say. Um, we kicked off in style with Sophie Lloyd, who was a name new to me, but she is a local British guitarist and has a powerhouse vocalist in her group called Marisa. Had to look this up, sorry. Marisa Rodríguez. And wow, I mean, what a way to open for the all-girl power band that is The Warning. If you want to set the bar high for yourselves, then this was a great way to go. And they had some boys in the band, but it was Sophie and Marissa who really were leading the proceedings and doing a fantastic job of it. Then, of course, the main event, and our three lovely sisters come out in quite striking red outfits and delivered a 95-minute set that started strong and ended strong and was strong through the middle. Well, long-term viewers of the channel will know that I haven't really been into The Warning for very long. I only first heard a track from the most recent album, How You Call a Dream. Yeah, the song I heard was How You Call a Dream. When was that? October? Something like that. So it's been a whirlwind. Anyway, soon after I heard that track, I did buy the whole album, and I haven't heard all of the catalogue yet, but I figured, well, you know, they're going to play a bunch of songs from the new album and some stuff I won't know, but that's fine. It's a good mix. And sure enough, they did. In fact, they played every damn thing from Keep Me Fed. I don't know what longer term fans might have felt about that, but it suited me down to the ground. Um, so it opened, as does the album, with 6 Feet Deep, which is one of my favourites, and really reminds me of a one and done band from the UK called Heaven's Basement. Anybody else out there remember them? And do you think 6 Feet Deep sound like them? Let me know. Um, Followed straight away by Sick, which is great fun as well. And then after that, there was less predictable. You've got scattershot tracks from across the rest of the album, mixed in with other things from mostly the previous album era, and a few other things as well, of course. All good stuff. Yeah, so as predicted, I only knew a couple of the tunes from those earlier releases, notably Disciple, which I've had featured on the channel, of course, from the Pepsi Center performance from 2023. I enjoyed all the ones that were new to me, as well as all the ones that weren't. Especially, I'm going to give a shout out to the track Money, because that was just super fun. Nowhere more so than on the audience participation bit, where you know Danny splits the audience. I'm sure she does this at all the gigs and has done for a while, but you get one side shouting cash and one side shouting money. I was on the money side, and not going to lie, we trounced the cash side. Just saying. Sure, I mean, we had twice as many syllables to play with, but no, they were all right with their cash, but we were brilliant with our hi. Mm. Let's talk about the band. Um, if there was one disappointment with the sound, it was that Ali was a little bit low in the mix for my liking because she was great and I could tell she was great, but I would have liked to hear a bit more thump in my belly from her. Overall, the sound in the venue was excellent, but see, I'm niggling here. I just would have liked the bass up just that little bit more. Anyway, still fantastic. And Danny, well, I think one thing you don't hear mentioned about her very often is she's actually equally versatile as a vocalist and a guitarist. Um, she's kind of got her wheelhouse, which is where she sits for most things, but she's got a versatility to her range. And for example, the Apologize, the end of it especially, but some other moments in it where she goes really soft and she can do sweet so nicely, and both vocally and on the old guitar. So yeah, she was ace. And then we've got Pow on the drums, powerhouse. Is that a pun? If it was, it wasn't intended, but it was great. Um, and you could hear every little thing from her, and that made me very happy. Every cymbal, every whack of the cowbell on a couple of tracks. Gotta have more cowbell. Um, and yeah, just a great, rich, deep, booming drum sound. Fantastic. She is my favourite. Am I allowed to have a favourite? If I can have a favourite, it's her. If I can have a second equal favourite, it's the other two. Great. Glad we got that sorted. Um, so as I've said, and as you know, I'm relatively new to the band. Uh, but the last time they played in London was only a couple of years ago, and they played a much smaller venue. They played, I think, the Academy in Islington. I'm not quite sure the capacity at Brixton, but I would say it's at least double, if not triple, the Academy. So they really are going up in the world. I actually honestly thought they were already further up than they apparently are, but they'll get there. And the crowd, what a mix for a band who are all young ladies in their 20s. You might naturally expect that the crowd would be reflective of that. But no, there were folks from all walks of life, all age groups were in there. And I think that's fantastic because, I mean, there was a time when thought of somebody middle aged, hi, uh, going to a gig like this would be not exactly frowned upon, but it would have been considered unusual. What are you doing that going to listen to that young people's music? Barriers are being broken down, and I think that can only be a good thing. And to see everybody rocking out and enjoying the same music together has to be good, doesn't it? Yeah. So, speaking of the audience, we started off at a high with, as I say, 6 feet deep, and I think something like the first five songs were all from Keep Me Fed, and they were all getting a great reception. And I thought, wow, the crowd is going to go absolutely through the roof when we get some of the older stuff. But they didn't really. It pretty much stayed at that same, admittedly very high level from start to finish, effectively. So does that mean the audience is a large chunk of it is relatively new to them, like I am, and more familiar with Keep Me Fed than anything else? You just know how it is sometimes with a band, even when the new material is great, the older stuff gets the bigger cheers anyway. And yeah, this has been out for a year or so people are probably familiar with it, but I just thought it was interesting and worth noting from my perspective as someone as not exactly an outsider, but a new insider, shall we say. Anyway, stage presentation, nothing too flashy, just the girls playing basically, and you've got tasteful lights and some background imagery, but nothing too fancy or distracting. It's really about the music and the playing, which is how I like it. So the bottom line, was it the best gig ever? No, Was it great anyway? Yeah. So a solid 8 out of 10 from me. Um, Longer term fans, if you were there or if you've seen them somewhere else recently, I'd love to know what you thought of the recent tour. Would I see them again? Oh, yes. And do I recommend seeing them if they happen to be in your neck of the woods? Definitely. And my US friends, they are touring your shores in May. So check out their dates and get to the nearest one to you would be my advice. An excellent night. I had the rest of the Easter weekend to recover from both the gig and the holiday the week before, so that was nice. And now I'm back into crazy times with work. So yeah, it's all a nice balance in life. Anyway, great gig, great band. Can't wait to see what they do next. And yeah, if you've not encountered me encountering them before, I shall have a playlist of my warning reactions up on one side of my head for you to check out. And meanwhile, I will just say thank you for watching today and bye for now, but not for long.
Acting is reacting. This does not mean acting again.